this is the Jeff Cowan coming to you from thejeffcowan.com with my weekly podcast, Success in Professional Sales and Life in General. And I've got a great message for you this week. I've been listening to you, and boy, you really like it when I talk about closing, and you really like it when I give you closes. So we're going to stick with that theme. And this week I'm going to introduce to you a new series we're going to be working on over the next few weeks, and it's entitled The 6 Areas of Closing. The 6 Areas of Closing. Now, what do I mean? Well, what I mean is this, is most salespeople, if you ask them about closing, they all focus on one of the 6, and that is asking for the money or asking for the sale. And that is a very important part. As a matter of fact, you could argue that it's the most important part, but it's only one of 6 areas that you need to master your closing skill in if you want to maximize the opportunity you have. So this week what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to identify each of the 6 areas. Then over the next few weeks I'll come back and take each one of these areas, and I will give you examples of what I mean. So let's get started. 6 areas of closing. Number 1 is you got to be able to get in front of your customer. Get in front of the customer. Now, there's variations of this, and it really depends on what type of sell you're in. For example, there's three basic variations. One would be, let's say you're in retail or you're in a business where people come to you to view your product or see your product or experience your product. So in that area, to get in front of them, you'd have to close them on coming in. Let's say it's the exact opposite, and you represent a product where you go out to businesses and you go to people's offices to make your presentation. So your first area of closing would be to close them on the idea of allowing you to visit them to make your presentation. The third area in this area would be over the web. There are a lot of businesses done over the web these days through webinars and stuff. As a matter of fact, my business, probably 75% of it, I would guess, is done through web meetings like this. So for us, and people in the type of business that I'm in, or with the type of products like I have, your thing would be to close them on the idea of scheduling a time to do the webinar so you can show them your product. Because again, unless you can get in front of your customer and get your product in front of the customer, you can't close anything. And this is where I see a lot of people make a mistake, is they'll engage the customer on a telephone call and they just give up too much. And they forget that it doesn't make any difference until your customer can actually see and feel and touch and hear and understand what your product does. You can't close them. So your first thing when you're in contact with your customer is to be able to get in front of them, either via the web, in person at their office, or close them on coming to you so you can show your product so you can close them. That's the first area. The second one is closing them on allowing you to present once you're in the presentation. Now let me move slow here, because this is the one area of the 6 that you may not have to do a lot, but here's what I mean. So now you're in front of your customer, okay? So now you're making your presentation. And as you're talking to your customer, you find out that in addition to the needs they have, there's some other needs that you've spotted that you could help them out with. And as you start to talk about those other areas, they simply shut you down. Yeah, I know, looking at your product, it does these other things, you could solve it, but I'm just interested in this one over here, okay? Or you know what, I know that I need the deluxe package would probably be the best thing, but I'm just interested in the most simple thing you've got. Well, here's the problem with that. If you can't present your deluxe package, if you can't present everything that you have, then you can't ask them to buy it. So sometimes you have to close them on the idea of allowing me to present everything, allowing me to present my entire product. And depending on your product, that may happen a lot. It may not happen very much at all, but it will happen. And we'll get into that as we move over the next few weeks. So sometimes, number 2, you have to close them on allowing you to make a full presentation. Your customers, many, many times, they try to beat people up. This is a mistake I see salespeople make. They try to beat you up and say, I don't have a lot of time. Let's just cut to the chase. I don't need, and you got to stay in control, and you have to be able to present it. You can't ask them to buy it if you don't get a chance to present it. So again, number 1, we got to close them on getting in front of them, okay, however that is. Number 2, we may have to close them on allowing me to make the entire presentation, not just what they think they want to hear, but the entire presentation. And then 3, you close them on other products that you find as you're making your presentation, other products they may need. So now that I've got into it and I started talking to them and they start mentioning other things, that I have other products that will close, or maybe there's additional things to what it is they're asking for that I can close them on, I close them on any additional finds. Now, before I go on with 4, 5, and 6, I just want to remind you that I've got some books out, and you need to pick up the phone, or you need to get online, and you need to buy these books. These are great books. I've got some great videos out there to show you how to be the absolute best salesperson you can be. For example, if you like what you're seeing here, I can get into a lot more detail with our programs and really just break this down and make you a superstar. Okay, so go to thejeffcowan.com, check out the products we have, or call us at 1-800-248-2931. Again, 1-800-248-2931. Learn about my books. For example, I got some great news. As you probably remember me talking about here a few months ago, I released a book called What I've Learned from Attending Over 35 Indy 500s about sales, management, motivation, leadership, and life in general. I just found out that over the last 30 years, in just the last 6 months, my book being out in 6 months' time, all the books that were put out about the Indy 500 over the last 30 years, mine has jumped up to the third best-selling one, and it's the #1 selling book in regards to business books being written about the Indy 500. I mean, that's something to brag about there, right? The thing's doing really, really well. We've actually got an international publisher talking to me about taking that over. So give us a call. I got some great stuff. I got some new videos that I'm working on, with new training programs. You know, get involved. What you're going to like about me is that my programs aren't overcomplicated. They're clear, they're concise, they're to the point, and they don't require major investments. If you're serious about being the best salesperson that you can be, if you're serious about maximizing the opportunity you have, if you're serious about leading your leaderboard in your office, then you need to start investing in my products. I'll show you how to get it done, and it'll be a lot of fun. But back to this. We're talking about the 6 areas of closing, and we're now ready for number 4. Number 4, that area would be closing them on realistic expectations and or the time needed to deliver your product. You know, many, many times once people decide to move forward with your product, they want it now. They want it yesterday, right? And with most products, again, I'm a perfect example of this. Most products, it takes sometimes days, weeks, and months before you can even begin to deliver the product. So you might have to sell them on realistic expectations, realistic time frames, and sell them on realistically what the product's going to be able to do for them. Number 5, close them on the sale. So now you've made your presentation, you've done all these other steps, so now it's time to close them on the sale and ask for the money. So that's number 5, and we'll talk a lot about that in a few weeks. And then number 6, you need to close them on continuing to do business with you, continuing to come back, continuing to send their friends, give you referrals, continue with maybe maintenance programs and the like. So there you have it, the 6 areas of closing. We've got, again, let me just go over again real quick. You got to close them on getting in front of them, whether that's getting them into your store or you going to their office, or close them on the idea of you making a presentation online. Number 2, you might have to close them on allowing you to make the entire presentation, not just on the parts they want to hear, but the entire presentation. Number 3, you need to close them on other things that you find when you're making your presentation that you have products that will solve. You have to close them on those. You then need to close them on realistic expectations, like how long it's going to take to get this, how long it's going to take for your product to be effective, and the like. And we'll get in a lot of detail on that in the future. Then you're going to close them on the sale itself. You know, ask them for the money and ask them for the sale. And then finally, the 6th area, as you'll remember from just a few minutes ago here, is to close them on to continue doing business with you, continue coming back, sending you referrals, and the like. So again, over the next few weeks, I'm going to come back. We're going to break down each one of these. We might do one a week. We might do a couple a week. We'll just see how it goes. But I will give you examples in each one of these areas what I'm talking about, some word tracks in each one of these areas we're talking about, because my job is to make you the most successful professional salesperson you can be. I want you to maximize that opportunity. If you're going to get out of bed every day and you're going to go out and you're going to knock on doors or make presentations, you want to maximize the opportunity. You want to be the one making the most amount of money in your business, because if you're going to do it, why wouldn't you want to be number 1? And one of the best ways to be number 1 is to continue to come back and listen to this podcast, invest in my products. Go to thejeffcowan.com, see what we've got cooking out there. And by the way, if you're a business owner and you're looking for a keynote speaker or maybe a little warm-up meeting for your people as a thank you for the end of the year, your salespeople or your general office staff, because they do some great motivational stuff, or if you wanted to kick off your year with a sales meeting and goal setting, those type of things, I have all kinds of the things. It's not too late. You don't have to call any agency. Call me direct. You'll save a bunch of time. You'll save a bunch of money. I'd love to come and do it. I love doing these. I'm great at it, and people typically, once they have me in one time, they tend to have me back 2, 3, 4, 5 times because they really enjoy what I have to say, mostly because it's so effective. So here's what I want you to do. Between now and next week, I want you to go find as many clients as you can. I want you to close them on getting in front of them. I want you to present your product. I want you to ask them for the money. I want you to get the money. I want you to take your part of it, your commission, and I want you to start living the life that you so deserve, because between now and next week, that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go find as many clients as I can. I'm going to present my products, and I'm going to close them, and I'm going to take that commission, and I'm going to continue to live the life that I've got, because I'm living a great life, great family, great house, great all kinds of stuff. It's fun. So make it a great week. See you next week. Take care.